Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donley Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donley Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us. We are here every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Hi, I'm Susan. I'm here with Randy Donley. We are the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago. We're here today to help you determine if you have any valuable items at home that you may want to sell at auction. However, today, hi, Randy, we're going to talk a little bit more about selling your collections outright for cash. That is a new thing we're going to be doing in 2024.
Well, yes, Susan, you know, what has been happening to me is I'm finding certain consignors. I have one particular military consignor who just keeps bringing in all this great merchandise. And I was talking to him the other day, and I said, wait a minute, where are you getting all this stuff? And he said, well, I run an ad in, this newspaper. And it occurred to me that we run ads for auctions in the same newspaper. And his ads say, we'll pay cash, buying now.
Yeah,
ours say top dollar at auction. But yet he just keeps getting all this great merchandise in. And as I was talking to him, he said, I talk to people all the time that see your ads, but they would rather get cash fast. They said they felt it took too long at auction. And I said, well, this is ridiculous because I'm happy to buy. I'll buy the collections also.
Right.
What our job for our clients is to get them more money.
The most money, that's right.
And so he said, sometimes it's not about more money. It's about they want money now. So if that's the case, I'll buy your collections too, folks.
Yes, we will.
Our job, again, as an auction company is to always get you the most money. But if you're looking to sell single items or collections or anything, well, then sure, I'll pony up and buy it also. But I want you to know that all I'm going to do, just like the consignor I was just talking about, is I'll just take it right to Donley Auctions, to my own auction company, and sell it at a profit. And if that does not bother you, that you're getting less money but quicker, I'm your guy.
Wow.
I will
That's
buy,
exciting.
like I say, anything, be it military relics, of course, is my specialty. But we'll buy arcade machines. We'll buy slot machines, jukeboxes, pinball machines. We'll buy cars, antique cars, and everything that we've been asking for you to consign. If you would rather sell it, again, we'll be happy to buy.
That's exciting. We're going to need more room.
We could. And also, I don't want you to think that any collection is too small or too big for us because, if you have an antique car collection, I'm still interested. I could very easily be your guy to just come in and buy them all.
And to do that, all you need to do, we're going to keep it very simple. Just email us at consign@DonleyAuctions.com. Tell us who you are, what you have, and we will just talk to you about next steps. You don't have to list everything in an email. Send us some photos, but we will definitely give you an honest opinion of what your next steps should be.
You got it.
I think that's exciting for 2024. A lot of great things coming up this year, folks. Again, go to our website at DonleyAuctions.com to see the calendar. We'll be talking about several of those auctions later on in the show today. But I also want to, wish everybody again Merry Christmas. Hope everybody had a great time last week. We had some very exciting things happen over the Christmas holiday. And one is Randy was so close. You know how he's been talking about buying me a 69 Camaro? So close to buying me one. I got a letter that said, I almost pulled the trigger,
Okay, well, here's what happened.
Give you E for effort, for sure.
Here's what
I'm
happened.
Okay with that.
I found what I felt was that perfect 69 '69 Camaro, very nice.
Red with the black top.
4-speed on the floor, big engine.
Big block, yep.
And I thought, wow, this is the greatest. But the car was in Florida. And I did have a transporter lined up to bring it back. But as I'm, I haven't seen the car, and I'm buying this in Florida. So, playing 20 questions with the guy, I said, I want this as a great daily driver for Susan, and it's got to be ready to go. I said, now, I just told him, I said, I'm going to come out and drive it home. I said, there's not going to be any problem with that, is there? Well,
let me tell you.
The taillights aren't done. You're going to have to fix the taillights on it. Wow, well, that's unusual. If the car's restored, how can the taillights not work?
And the gas gauge, you said, wasn't working.
And so,
darn it.
And the gas gauge isn't working. You're going to get that fixed. And all of a sudden, like I say, the deal just started to fall apart real fast.
I'm just impressed that you went through all that effort for sure. So if anyone does know of a 69 Camaro out there, give us a call at 815-923-7000.
And again, we will buy it outright, or we'll auction it. Of course, I always recommend to everybody, auctioning is where you're going to get more money. But if you want to sell it, I need one.
That's right. So give us an idea again, real quick, of some of the collections that we would be looking for to buy. I know you go through the list really fast. It's hard for people to really get an idea of what that is. So if you're not sure, again, just call us at 815-923-7000.
Sure. But, we're always looking for the basics, whether they're for auction or for outright sale now. I'm looking for any coin-operated machines, especially big upright slot machines and Nickelodeons, any coin-operated items that play musical instruments.
Right.
I mean, we would be buying carousel horses, antique cars, gas pumps. I'm always looking for bars, Susan. All over the city of Chicago, every street corner used to have an old saloon or a corner bar. Well, a lot of those still exist in the buildings. And even though people have rented out the space for apartments and everything, I can't tell you how many times we go into somebody's apartment that they're renting to buy a big bar and back bar that rather than taking it out over the years, they just kind of
left it in there.
Left it in the building. So we'll move it. We'll do all the dismantling and moving and everything, and I can have a bar out of any building in a day.
Well, I just want to clarify, too. Here's something that I experience on my end of the business is the invoicing after an auction. So we held an auction, and we have to collect payments from our buyers within 24 hours. Well, you can imagine that's not always the case. So we chase and get our money as soon as we can within a week or two.
Sure.
You can imagine how many phone calls and things like that we go through to get the money back. So because we want to get our consignors paid immediately. But a lot of people don't want to wait that long, right? So that is why you want to offer that option to sell, or they have to wait a couple weeks after the auction for their consignor check.
The standard time length, if you're going to auction, is really a couple months because you're going to need to get your items in a month before the auction. And, so that we can photograph it, describe it, and get it online and everything. So a minimum of a month, probably 6 weeks or even 2 months in advance.
Exactly.
And then it's a 30-day payout. It's 30 days after the auction that we guarantee you get your money. So, I mean, you're anywhere from 2 to 3 months, and sometimes it can be more depending on if we're waiting for the right auction. Like right now, we're working on an aviation collection that we've had over a year. But in order to sell this properly and market it properly, to get these people the most money, it takes a lot of time because we need to be in color catalogs. And a lot of these magazines have 6 months to a year lead time in order to get full color ads and stories in their magazines.
That's correct. So we want to give our customers the option now. You can either sell your collection outright, talk to Randy about that one, or get it into an auction. It'll just take a little bit longer, but I guarantee we'll get you the best prices possible. We have thousands of bidders online, and currently we are on 4 different bidding platforms with bidders from all over the world.
You bet. Now, again, a few more of the items that we'll be looking for, whether they be auction or purchase. Cigar store Indians.
Oh, we love those.
I really like cigars. I should call them cigar store figures now.
Okay, yes.
Let's be politically correct here. Cigar store figures are made of a wood. They're carved wood, used to be in front of a cigar store.
Yeah, send us some photos
and
of those.
We're always looking for those. I need motorcycles, Susan.
Yeah, and we do have a few
motorcycles
coming up in our January 20th auction. We'll talk about that in the show
talk about
as
that
well.
in the
We
next
have a few,
segment.
but we always like more cars and motorcycles.
So, antique architecture, old popcorn machines, again, arcade, you name it, we're looking for it. And even great furniture if it's heavily carved.
That's right. So don't go anywhere, because on our next segment, we're going to be bringing on our military expert and consultant, David, who's going to talk about the January 6th military relics auction, because it also includes Native American and Old West items. It's going to be a fantastic auction. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan. I'm co-owner of Donley Auctions, here with my lovely partner, Randy Donley. We're located just 60 miles west of Chicago. And in this segment, we're going to talk about our next military auction coming up on Saturday, January 2nd at 10 a.m. And
6th, January 6th.
What did I say?
2nd.
Oh, January 6th. Sorry.
It's the 6th. Yep.
January 6th. It's the military, Old West, and Native American auction. And David Hilp is one of our military experts and consultants who's going to give us a little bit of information about the auction. Hi, David. Welcome to the show.
Hey, David.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. We always love having you on. A lot of people
interesting stories he has.
Mention the fact that they like what you have to offer on the show. So we're always happy to have you back. But, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the headgear that we have in this upcoming auction because there's such a wide variety of it. We've got items, from World War, even more modern than World War II, Vietnam era and everything. And then we go all the way back toward the Civil War with some of those old top hats, from the Native Americans, the way they decorated them. But one item in particular that I'd like to point out is we have a U.S. World War II 4th Division helmet. And it's hand-painted on the front of it. And I tell people all the time, World War II helmets, American helmets, can bring some very serious money.
They certainly can. That they used to be very common, and you used to find them every place. But especially ones that have insignia that's been painted on them, that just takes it to a new level. Or a helmet that's for a special unit, like a medic or a military policeman that says MP on the front. Or one that's been painted with a camouflage colors. Some people think that's junky, and it's actually even a better helmet with the paint on it.
Well, years ago, I bought a World War II German helmet, and the guy, told me, he said, I'm sorry, he said, this thing got so rusty, and he said, but it's been in the garage forever. And as a kid, I wasn't, clever enough immediately to understand what it was, but found out when other collectors pointed out to me, that wasn't rust. That was a brown pebble finish camouflage that had been put on that German helmet. And it turned out that German helmet, looking rusty, was exceedingly valuable.
Yes. I was going to say something about the auction in general, because it's really well balanced, because there are things that are, pre-Civil War, Civil War, 1880s, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf War, and then we got American and Japanese and German and British and a whole bunch of countries, and then a selection of bayonets and even some interesting British police items, and and swords. It just seems like it's got a little bit of a lot of everything, and from posters to it's a sweeping. And then those top hats, those Native American top hats are spectacular.
They really are. But what would you feel, being a military expert that you are, what would you feel are some of the highlights?
Well, one highlight, just because it's very poignant, is that the Civil War surgeon's saw, because
Oh, no.
boy, when you see it, you realize that the horrors of war, and there's a lot of collectors that like medical devices and Civil War, so it's kind of a cross-category item, and it's very desirable.
Well, you said it right on spot, which is the horrors of war.
Right.
When you look at that saw and realize what it was used for out on the battlefields, no anesthetic. I mean, what these poor soldiers and veterans, and not only from the Civil War, but it goes on to this day, what our veterans do for us on a daily basis, what they're doing right now, this very second, that we don't even realize across the countries around the world.
Right, and in fact, in our world, boy, we get a lot of retired veterans that come in all the time to bring in guns, ammo, military stuff, antiques in general, and we always give them an extra handshake and say thank you for your service.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is extremely collectible still today and valuable, which is one thing we want to stress. Now's the time to consign with us. And all you have to do is send us an email at consign@donleyauctions.com. David, I also saw on our flyer, which is on our website at donleyauctions.com, there's some timepieces and some nautical items. Anything there we want to talk about?
There's some beautiful ship chronographers, chronographs that are, ship clocks that are absolutely stunningly beautiful. The works are incredible. A lot of the major American clock companies, brass fittings, beautifully made, in these beautiful mahogany and oak cases, and they just look so stately. And it's for timepiece people that collect Navy or ship items. And if you were an attorney or a doctor and you wanted to have something really striking in your office, these are just fantastic, even just for a man cave or have on display in your living room.
Wow.
Yes, Sam, they're beautiful.
And what about those watches? In the metal cases, do you have like 3 of those Hamiltons from the Air Force?
Right. I think one of them, if I'm not mistaken, one's an Elgin, and the other 2 are Hamiltons.
Okay.
And those are, keeping time in the military is critically important. And so each aircraft has to make sure that they're in sync, that they have a quality timepiece. And luckily, say, for example, going back to World War II, we had a number of really great American watch companies that got government contracts, and they made excellent watches. And there's just a whole market of both your aviation people, your military people, and your watch collectors that really seek these out.
And before we talk about more items, and we've got a lot to talk about here, I want to point out to everybody listening that we're still looking for more items also. We're talking about an auction, but we've always got more auctions coming up, and military relics especially sell well, and we're always looking for more military relics.
That's right, because our next military auction is going to be in February, and I believe it is on February. I got the date right here, February 18th. It's a Sunday.
Okay, so tell them how they can consign, Susan.
Yeah, so if you want to consign with us, now's the time, because like we said, we need to advertise, describe it, group it, lot it, and promote it.
That's right.
So send us an email at consign@donleyauctions.com, and we will definitely tell you next steps. Just send us some pictures and a little bit of information on what you have, and I will have David or one of our other experts give you a call back. That easy.
So David, I was looking again through the collection of items coming up in this auction, and I saw some incredibly rare daggers, rarer than what we normally would have in the auction. But then I even saw such a variety of knives, including a really nice vintage Randall. And ladies and gentlemen, Randall knives are a premium price point.
In fact, there's one Randall that's in the auction that it's poignant for me, because I went to the man's house. He was disabled, and he had a bunch of things, and he was telling me how good other things were. And I knew the knife. I saw pictures of it, and when I got it, I realized that was the best thing that he gave me. And when I called him to tell him what I thought it would go for, he was flabbergasted. And sometimes someone buys a high-quality knife 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they just take care of it and don't really overly sharpen it, and there's some knives that are worth thousands.
Well, and David, this is why I keep telling people you need auctions in order to achieve the best prices. But in our last segment, I've been telling everybody that I'm watching too many consignors walk in with merchandise that they've been buying from the public, probably from our listeners, and they're buying it and then putting it in our auctions. And I said, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to sell it, I'll buy it. I mean, and I'm just going to put it in the auction. But if you want top dollar, you need to consign it.
That's right. And again, you can always call us, too, at 815-923-7000. And we will definitely give you our honest opinions and help you through with your next steps.
So, David, what else do we have that you find interesting?
I think we have a lot of great stuff to talk about. I'd like to have David come back on the next segment, too, David.
Okay.
Because we didn't really hit much on the Old West and Native American portion of the auction. But real quick, David, you got about 30 seconds. What else do you want to talk about military-wise?
Oh, yeah, there's some early or late 19th century, early 20th century French armored cavalry breastplate and backplate, and I thought that's really just a very dramatic item that you put that on a torso or on a mannequin or just have that on display, and that's something you just don't see every day. You just can't go out with money and say, I want one and I want to buy it. You just don't see them.
When people actually wore steel armor into battle, I mean, that's
right?
just incredible.
Well, but, David, don't go anywhere. Folks, don't leave us yet. We're going to talk more with David Hilp about our upcoming auctions. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here every Saturday on AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan here with Randy Donley. We're with Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. And our guest today is David Hilp. He's one of our military consultants and experts. David, thanks for staying on the radio with us. We wanted to touch just quickly about the other items in our military auction, January 6th. We have some Old West and Native American items. Tell us about that.
Well, I can tell you one thing is that it is diverse, and there's some really interesting things here. For example, we have some very, very cool Western spurs, and some of them are really ornate, and they have inlay of different metals on them. And there's some bronzes of both Indians and Western scenes, and there's some fantastically rare arrowheads with letters of authenticity and beautiful for display. And we got Indian rugs and tom-tom drums. And
David, hold on. Before we go any further, because we don't edit our show, we just talk frankly and keep going.
Sure.
I want to make sure, again, politically we're correct. Shouldn't this be Native American? And I kid you not. I want to be very respectful.
Right. I will say Native American. I do have some people that are Native American, and they say they don't care, but I will be respectful of that for a general audience, of course.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So, yeah, but there's some great Native American rugs, some great baskets. It's just a menagerie of different things. Some holsters, some Western holsters,
and chaps and all kinds of leather items, and spurs.
You name it.
They go jingle jangle.
I even saw a authentic Civil War saddle there, which they're scarce. A lot of people think that every McClellan style saddle is a Civil War era saddle, and they're not. I mean, but we do have one in this auction, a real one. So,
yes, we do.
What a variety.
Again, I just want to remind everybody, if you want to actually see what we're talking about, go to our website at donleyauctions.com, and you'll see each auction there with a flyer or a photo next to it. Click on that button. It'll take you to all of the items that are available online. And I think for January 6th, we're well over 600 items. What a great eclectic mix of things.
And Susan, I want to point out to everybody that Donley is Donley.
Yes.
There are still people spelling it with two N's, two L's, and they can't get to us. So gotta get it right, folks.
Donley Auctions, Donley, auctions with an S.com to see the catalog.
So, David, let's get back to some more of the military items, and let's talk about the amount of ordnance that's in this auction.
We in this particular auction, we have one of the highlights is this World War I American aerial bomb. And people here were laughing at me when I said it's an adorable little bomb, and then when I held it like a baby, they said, "Oh, it is kind of cute." We have a 500-pound bomb, training bomb, a gigantic one, and people love to hang those outside their houses or in their rec room. And we have rockets and artillery rounds, and we even have some of the trench art where they take the shells and they make beautiful floral patterns in it. We've got things from Japan and Britain and the Soviet Union, and it's just a nice big mix. And of course, that leads into the great collection that we're going to be doing in March.
Yep, March 16th. It's a Saturday, March 16th. The Jim Geibel Ordnance Collection. It's one of, if not the best ordnance collection in the United States by many experts' determinations. And Donley's Auctions is going to is in charge of it, and we'll be auctioning it off, and there's going to be some fantastic things in there.
We're excited about that. But, I wanted to point out, you just mentioned that World War I aerial bomb. Most people don't even think about this, that aviation was so in its infancy during World War I that we hadn't even set up systems yet to rig bombs on the wings of airplanes and everything, and many bombs were actually hand-dropped by the pilots. They would actually have bombs, in their cockpit and lift them out and drop them by hand over the side of their aircraft. And that's the way many, many World War bombs were dropped.
That's right. That is right. And it's come a long way. But, one thing is that, I mentioned the British police things, the Bobby helmets we have, and just, along with military police items, very sought after, police badges, old police uniforms, those old style Keystone Cop type things, billy clubs. Police items also kind of fit in that military kind of Western type genre.
Right. So we're always looking for more, ladies and gentlemen. We need more collections. Well, we'll buy or auction individual items, especially items with provenance. If you had a relative, a father, an uncle, or grandfather, or that you have his uniforms and badges and that, boy, we're here for you to auction them. And we always say
it's never too late.
Make it fit in your wallet.
That's right. It's never too early to consign. I want to mention too, we are still taking consignments for firearms and ammunition for our February 17th gun auction. So, folks, give us a call at 815-923-7000 if you need any further direction. David, thank you for joining the show today. We'll see you back at the office. Very good, interesting stories. I appreciate it. Thank you. And then, again, you can check our website at donleyauctions.com. That's DONLEY auctions.com for all of the calendar events coming up in 2024. And that's only up until March. We've got stuff coming up April through December, folks. So keep in mind, check our website.
Brand new year of Donley Auctions.
A lot of exciting things happening for sure. Don't go anywhere. We're going to give you an update on the Donley Group coming up next with Shauna Donley. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
And now, more of the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, here with my partner, Randy Donley. We are the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. And on this segment of the show, we have Shauna Donley, who's heading up our Donley Real Estate Group. Hi, Shauna. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Hi. Shauna, I first just want to publicly acknowledge a fantastic event that happened for our family over the Christmas holiday. Shauna created from scratch, really, the most beautiful dinner at the Wild West town for the Donley family in the streets of yesteryear. And I just want to publicly thank you for creating such a memorable night. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Shauna,
thank you. It was so much fun.
It was fantastic.
And I have to say, it was fabulous. Again, those of you who've been to the Wild West town, the family, of course, has closed the Wild West town permanently. We're not going to reopen it, but everything's still intact in the Wild West town. So Shauna planned a party for our whole family in the streets of yesteryear, and it truly was a blast from the past. And what an exceptional event center.
We just proved it again. It was a great place for events.
Oh, my God, yeah. So,
Absolutely. And if anyone would like to see pictures, we'll be posting them on the Donley Auctions Instagram later this week.
oh, good.
Good.
But as long as that actually happened, and the timing was such that we had kind of our last party there,
Last hurrah.
we are going to be auctioning off all the contents of the Wild West Town coming up this year. Sometime we'll be announcing it on our website and so on and so forth. We've been talking about it for a long time, but we're definitely going to sell off the contents. But Shauna, tell the folks out there what a great piece of property this is. I mean, we've got 25 commercial acres with all kinds of buildings, and it can be used for so many things. The zoning is phenomenal. So
It really is. And one of the most special things about it, buildings and available uses aside, is that McHenry County isn't giving away commercial zoning currently. So if you are looking for a piece of property that has footage on a U.S. highway, Route 20, frontage, we have it available, and it's all zoned commercial. So it's a really fantastic piece of land and a really great opportunity. We've got tens of thousands of square feet of land and buildings, buildable vacant land as well, restaurant, bar, banquet hall, along with the Wild West Town as is, but there could be so many additional uses for it. So definitely give us a call if anybody is interested in hearing more.
How do they get a hold of you, Shauna, if they have questions about the Wild West Town property?
You go to DonleyAuctions.com, click on the real estate tab on the top, and my cell phone is right there. You can give us a call or an email.
yeah, wow. And again, what an event center. But also, I've always said if somebody needs 25 commercial acres and wants to plow down the buildings, I mean,
Right?
that's going to be their right to do. You don't
I'm hoping
have to
somebody
use it.
turns it into like a Country Thunder South or something, or who knows. There's just so many creative things that can be done with that land.
Susan, for years, people, when we were operating, people were coming to us all the time wanting to do just that. They said, well, you've got the zoning for concerts
That's right,
out here.
for festivals, concerts.
Which counties, again, as Shauna just said, they don't give that kind of zoning away
Right.
anymore, but it's already in place for somebody who needs.
And there's a KOA next door. You can't,
Right.
ask for anything better.
A campground
but
adjacent.
a lot of opportunities and a lot of things we can do with the property. But Shauna, real quick, give us an update on the Donley Group and tell us a little bit about what it's like working with estates.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you so much for bringing that up. Well, like Susan just said, I do run the Donley Group. We are a group of real estate brokers in Northern Illinois and Wisconsin. We work with App Properties, Christie's International. But speaking of estates, we just got a call yesterday from one of our past clients' estates to be interviewed to work with them as their realtor, which is exciting on its own. But I think a lot of people who are handling estates, which are so many of our clients through the auction business, they worry that there's too much work to be done on a house. Well, we need to replace the carpet. We need to do this. We need to update the kitchen. And there is some work that I would recommend having done, but there's a lot of cosmetic updates and other things that just don't need to happen. And that's where the expertise and advice from our real estate group really comes into play. We can help you navigate an as-is sale or discuss offer credits for updates and things that need to be done, or even reduce the purchase price. And when we list on the market at a little bit below value, anticipating a buyer is going to come in and do work, chances are we're getting multiple offers and end up selling over asking anyway. So there is so much good that working with a realtor can do on your estate. And we always say the perfect home for your perfect buyer is usually the house that they perfect after closing. They do their work on their own. You don't want to paint. What if they hate that color and you just spent $5,000 painting?
Wow.
We always just want to make the updates that are going to attract the buyer but not deter them.
And that's why they need to contact Shauna Donley at the Donley Group at DonleyAuctions.com. How do you spell Donley? Donley. I think they got it.
As easy as it gets.
It's easier. Yeah, not all those extra letters, for sure. Anything else, Shauna, you want to add? I know there's some challenges out there still. We have about a minute to talk about the pros and cons of for sale by owner.
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, of course, from my point of view, I see no pros. But the cons, there are so many different micro markets out there. You might be in a county and a city, and say, oh, well, the city, here's what's happening. But there are micro markets. Even your subdivision, if you're out in the suburbs, is its own little market. And a lot of sellers don't have the resources to find all of the past sales. And we really do. You know, realtors can give you broker price opinions, which is not bank worthy of an appraisal, but we can definitely help you figure out where to price your house.
Shauna,
that's the biggest thing.
Thank you. That is fantastic information. Again, if you need more information, call us at 815-923-7000. We'll get you in touch with Shauna. We'll keep it simple, but don't go anywhere, folks. We're still going to talk about some interesting stories and upcoming auctions right here on the Donley Auctions Hour every Saturday on AM 560, The Answer. Thank you, Shauna.
The Donley Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour. We're talking about items that you may have at home or in your garage that might be of value that you might want to put up for auction. And also today we're talking about items you might want to actually sell rather than put in an auction. You want to reiterate that again, Randy?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, if you didn't hear me earlier, that I will buy your single items or complete collections. I mean, I'm happy to make you offers. You will definitely make more money if you put it in auction. That's my opinion. But I will be happy to buy also and make you offers. So
for 2024, the year of 2024, we're going to give our consignors an option.
The option. Yeah. We'll buy it.
Yeah. I like options, that's for sure. But I want to talk about real quick, too, about our upcoming auction. January 6th is the military auction. It's a fantastic auction, over 600 items. But people always ask me, well, I've never been to an auction. What am I supposed to do? Well, let me tell you how easy it is. First thing I always like to say is come to the auction in person so you can touch and feel and smell all the items and ask questions before you bid. I will have all of our experts there to answer any of your questions. That's the first thing. It's also the least expensive way because you're not paying for online bidding fees, right? So come to the auction. We're in Union, 60 miles west of Chicago.
You bet.
Free pizza, beer, coffee, and donuts. I mean, who else is going to do that, right? If you cannot come out, we have a preview on Friday from noon until 7 p.m. If you can stop by, say you can't be at the auction all day on Saturday, come to the preview, again, ask questions. There's no admission. There's nothing you need to do, right? Maybe buy a catalog if you want to see all of the descriptions and everything. And then you can put an absentee or phone bid. So all that means is an absentee bid is we bid with other bidders up to your maximum amount on an absentee bid. It's just that if you hit, say, $500 and he's asking for $550 and there's no other bidders, you probably won't get it if somebody else outbids you. However, if you're on the phone with me and I say we're asking $550, you can always bid up your increments if you want. So there's some options there. The most popular way, everybody bids online. So if you go to donleyauctions.com, that'll take you to one of our bidding platforms. We are also on ProxyBid, AuctionZip, and Invaluable.
Wow.
So yeah, there's plenty of ways to register to bid, and it's a very user-friendly process.
You know, I also want to remind everyone, Susan, that we have two auctions in January. We have actually what I refer to as part 2 of our fall classic. More of the same type of items we sold in November. We're selling slot machines. We're selling coin op. We're selling advertising. We're selling some great cars. We've got a couple beautifully restored Model A's, a 31 4-door. And
I'm liking the 54 Chevy right there.
Oh, you
what
like
a beauty.
54 Chevy pickup truck. Mm-hmm. Totally restored, again, by the Volo Auto people.
That's right.
Yep.
And that auction is January 20th and 21st. I mean, it really is the best of the best. And we got that huge beer sign collection, too. I had no idea how many items we had. There's over 100 of those beer signs. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. And that'll be on Sunday. But again, check our website at donleyauctions.com. This January 20th auction will be online next week.
Yes, it will.
I know. Mm-hmm. Another thing, too, we forgot to mention, we are hiring. In 2024, we have such a great team right now. I am looking for more quality, good people to add to Donley Auctions. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. We're basically looking for people who have expertise in particular collections, would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, we're expanding so fast at Donley right now that we need to hire more people who know about antiques.
Right. The describing of the items is the key.
So if you have a hobby that you're intelligent about, we can use you for a describer.
Right. Looking for part-time, flexible hours, or if you're looking for full-time, we always need help in our shipping department. That is a fast-growing department right there. Marketing, graphic design, we've got all kinds of jobs here for the right people. looking for good people who want to work, basically, right?
Yeah.
I know. For now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donley.
And
we'll see you at the auction. And Happy New Year!
Thanks for listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonleyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonleyAuctions.com.